This is Rahima. She's 26 years old. She lives in a slum called Kwamarugi, just outside of Nakuru in Kenya. Rahima has had 3 abortions, all of which forced upon her by her mother, as their family simply couldn't afford to support any more children. Rahima tried to get financial support from her husband, but to put it plainly, he didn't care. Whilst he's kind to her when he's sober, he beats her when he's not.
Sadly, Rahima's struggles are not unique. Many women in these slums face sexual and physical abuse, infidelity and exclusion due to living with HIV on a daily basis. Kenya already has a serious problem with gender-based violence, yet still a woman in Nakuru is 3 times more likely to be raped and twice as likely to suffer domestic abuse than anywhere else in the country. And this data only comes from those who could speak up. The real count is likely far higher.
Whilst these issues may feel overwhelming, what we found in the women of Kwamarugi was an incredible drive to overcome their problems. We sat down with Rahima and her community and listened to their struggles, their hopes and dreams, not only for themselves but for their children. They had the motivation, all they lacked was the opportunity.
This is where our project Oyana comes in. Oyana aims to uplift and empower the women in Kwamarugi to change their own lives. We wanted to make sure that the project was able to make a sustainable impact from the get-go. So the challenge for Oyana was identifying a product that could be marketed in both the UK side and the Kenya side, where the UK business was to serve as both a funding mechanism and a low-risk test bed for the project in Kenya.
As part of our initial research trip in 2019, we used the connections of Doxa, our project partner, to talk to key stakeholders throughout Nakuru. The tourist outlets and hotels we met with told us they're struggling to find a high-quality, locally sourced soap. We knew this was a market gap that we could fill, with hotels being our initial primary customers. Throughout this time, we've managed to retain relationships with our potential customers. This week, we are in fact sending some sample soaps to the tourist shops and hotels as proof of concept and to gain some of their feedback.
Oyana's business model equips the women of Kwamarugi with the resources they need to manufacture, market and sell high-quality, locally produced soap, providing much-needed income to the women and their community. In the short term, this allows the women to develop their knowledge of key business principles and provide them with a stable income.
In the long term, Oyana is facilitating the creation of a support network amongst the women. This will bolster their confidence and allow them to develop the skills they need to achieve true financial independence.
What makes Oyana particularly innovative is the support network and entrepreneurial strength of the UK arm.
Our UK team started the year with a seed funding drive to really get the project off the ground, raising £1,200.
This funding was used to start a student-run soap-making business here in the UK. We researched, prototyped and sold 9 different soaps with Kenyan scents from rose and pink clay to papaya and turmeric. From our Christmas sale and spring batch, we generated a further £312 in revenue, £200 in operating profit, and established the Oyana brand as a benchmark for high-quality artisanal soaps within our customer base.
And the best part of all this? The profit we generated here in the UK goes directly to the women of Kwamarugi. After working with our beneficiaries whilst developing the product, we identified key skills the women were interested to learn. We're happy to say we currently offer paid training to 3 women, Joyce, Fancy and Joanna. This training includes lessons on how to make the soap products, as well as basic business skills to help the women run the venture on the ground.
We currently run these sessions on a bi-weekly basis, paying the women £5 for each session, which represents a 25% increase to the women's weekly income. This allows for them to provide a more stable food supply for their families and to pay their rent and fund their children's studies.
In the UK, we are in the process of developing a refillable liquid soap to widen our product range. In Kwamarugi, we aim to have our beneficiaries training completed by the end of May, and we've already established connections with 2 lodges in Nakuru who are interested in purchasing our soap once production has reached commercially viable levels. In the long term, we aim to pay our beneficiaries a wage of about £4 to £5 per hour. This increase in income means providing food for their families, education for their children, and financial independence for the women of Oyana.
Here in Exeter, the Urban Mushroom Company has been making significant strides towards a positive and sustainable impact.
When you look at the news, what do you see? COVID rates, Death tolls. Recession predictions?
With COVID dominating the news agenda, we must not forget about the existential crisis our planet is facing: climate change. Despite a reduction in global greenhouse gas emissions last year, 2020 still gave us the hottest year on record, a devastating wildfire season, and new lows for the Arctic sea ice.
We're often told that climate change is largely due to the burning of fossil fuels. However, there is another key factor: food waste. Today, around 1/3 of all food produced in the world goes to waste. So if food waste for a country, it would be the third largest greenhouse gas emitter in the world.
Here in the UK, we consume 95 billion cups of coffee every day, producing 500,000 tonnes of coffee waste each year in the UK alone.
What's more, when coffee or organic matter is sent to the landfill, it decomposes and harmful greenhouse gases are unleashed into the atmosphere. To combat this, we have implemented a sustainable circular business model, reducing the environmental consequences caused by food waste production and creating a positive impact in our local community.
Our business model sees coffee grounds, once destined for landfill, turned into the primary source of nutrients to grow fresh gourmet mushrooms. We use innovative vertical farming techniques to maximise mushroom growth from the collected coffee grounds. To complete our circular business model, all the waste we produce is composted by our project partner St Sidwell's Community Centre. Here, the Community Centre volunteers use the compost in their own gardening programme, saving the coffee grounds from landfill and preventing further emissions.
We collect our coffee grounds using zero-carbon transportations from 5 local coffee shops, including large chains such as Pret and independents like Coffee No. 1, providing businesses with an alternative disposal method, encouraging them to take responsibility for their waste.
On top of this, we've invested in technology to streamline the process, allowing us to more accurately simulate the natural growing cycle. This enables us to provide a regular supply, ready for distribution to local shops and restaurants.
However, it hasn't all been plain sailing. Like for many local businesses, COVID-19 caused a disruption in production, affecting our entire supply chain.
How are we going to source coffee grounds when the majority of coffee shops were shut?
Despite restrictions, many shops still offer takeaway services and thus continue to provide the nutrient-rich waste that we really needed. We liaise with local suppliers to arrange COVID-secure collections to fuel our operations.
How are we going to train new members to work on the farm without actually meeting them?
The mushroom growing process is very labour-intensive, hence social distancing made work logistically difficult. Under lockdown conditions, we have managed to maintain consistent operations and functioning of the farm. The establishment of a buddy system enabled returning members to train up new students whilst reducing the amount of cross-contact through alternating shifts.
How could we develop relationships with our beneficiaries in a COVID-safe way?
We have partnered with St Sidwell's Community Centre to connect with local vulnerable people who we believe would benefit from volunteering with UMC. From this, we've created a roadmap that allows our beneficiaries to begin working alongside us at the mushroom farms in the coming months. We will be attending a weekly session for their gardening programme, allowing us to begin to understand and tackle the problems our beneficiaries face.
This year, we were encouraged to re-evaluate the whole life cycle of our product, to find out where we add value and how we can make our impact as environmentally sustainable as possible. We have focused on product development, producing grow boxes, providing consumers with the opportunity to grow their own mushrooms at home. We obtained our first online sales, selling 35 units and generating our first significant profit of £284.
We have upcycled 175 kilograms of coffee grounds this year alone, negating over 2 tons of carbon dioxide emissions, which is equivalent to offsetting the carbon footprint of over 25,000 cups of coffee or 2 return transatlantic flights.
We've also harnessed our website and social media channels to educate the public about sustainable consumption habits and the benefits of composting or upcycling your waste.
So what's next? This year, we aim to continue to work alongside our beneficiaries to focus on addressing their needs and to create a long-lasting, sustainable impact. We look to further develop our sales avenues and diversify our product base. with a focus on selling business to business, in addition to developing a production expansion plan.
We have also achieved impact this year with our legacy project, Biosmart. Biosmart has developed furnaces which create biocharcoal, a valuable fuel source made from agricultural waste. Over the past 3 years, we have been able to empower an entrepreneurial team of women in Katsununi, Kenya, to set up a business around selling this biocharcoal at the local market.
COVID cases in Kenya were skyrocketing, and tight restrictions meant that we had to temporarily halt production on the ground. We made the decision to pivot the project and prioritize the safety of our beneficiaries. We deployed COVID relief funds to provide masks and hand sanitizer to keep the women of Katsununi biochar group safe.
But this pause in production did provide us with an opportunity to refine our product. Customer feedback showed that our product was more challenging to use when compared to traditional charcoal due to its unpredictable shape. As such, we purchased a briquette press, a device that forces the product into a uniform shape. The briquette press is now on the ground in Kenya and producing improved biochar products ready to sell at market. These last few weeks have seen sales restart, once again bringing income to the 14 women who run the business on the ground.
This has been a hard year to make progress, but we've made progress nonetheless. We are proud to say that we have directly impacted the lives of 17 beneficiaries.
Stopped 2 tons of carbon dioxide being emitted.
Launched new projects at home and abroad.
And created a raft of new training programs for our members.
Thank you for listening. We are Enactus, Exeter.